Welcome back for another helping of Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I am Ross Bolen here with my buddy, Mr. Barrett Dudley, to bring you the best TV shows and movies weekly in an easily digestible podcast packed with laughs. Barrett, how are you today?
Oh, I'm good, Toots.
Did you just toots me?
Yeah, everybody. That's what they said back in the day.
Okay.
Everybody said, "Hey, Toots."
Yeah, but you can't.
And the women, they would say, "Boo-doo, boo-doo." Boo-doo, boo-doo. It was a different era, Ross. That's what, and I'm throwing it back to the era of the Hey Toots, because that's,
same thing.
Yeah.
Leon being all in on that was great. Like, he totally got it. Like, somebody do's me, I'm hitting that.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just imagine what it would have been like tapping that ass in the 40s.
He's the best, dude. You knew his ass wasn't going to deflate that doll.
That's absolutely correct.
That was never, ever happening. We're going to be discussing Curb Your Enthusiasm's 5th episode of its 10th season today, as well as starting out with the Outsiders' 7th episode. And we have a very special top 5 today, which I'm going to say up front. Far and away the most difficult top 5 we've done, and a shockingly deep pool to pick from for this actor. Now, considering, and I'm not going to say who it is yet. You can just look in the notes, I guess, and ruin it for yourself if you really wanted to. But maybe I won't even put it in the notes. Maybe.
Wow.
It'll just be a shocker.
Okay.
But no, it's gonna be very difficult, Barrett, for the two of us.
Yeah.
Very excited about it. And Barrett has a couple other shows he wants to update us on as well. So, we watch a lot of television and movies here, obviously, as part of the Clam fam, and we know how hard that can be on your eyes, which brings us to our first sponsor. This episode of OCC is brought to you by Felix Gray glasses. I constantly have my face in a screen, literally from the second I wake up until I go to sleep, and there is no cutting back. It is my cell phone, it is my laptop, it is my gaming PC at home, it is the massive television in my living room on which I consume all these shows that we watch, it is the other TV in my bedroom that I watch movies on at night before I go to sleep. I mean, it is incessant. And there is nothing that we can do about that in 2020. Too much screen time, it results in tired, dry eyes, headaches, blurry vision, trouble sleeping, and I've worn contacts since I was like 12. I'm blind as a bat without contacts. So it's even multiplied for me by the end of the day. And I have allergies in Austin, so my eyes are just shot. But not since I've been wearing Felix Gray blue light glasses. Whenever I get home at the end of the day, I take my contacts out, I throw on my Felix Grays, and it's like instant relief. They launched in 2016 with the singular focus of offering the most effective computer glasses on the market with all the quality of brand name designer frames. Quickly became the internet's favorite blue light glasses. Felix Gray glasses filter out 90% of high energy blue light, eliminate 99% of the harsh glare coming from screens, and that's one of the cool things you'll notice when you throw them on. There was more glare on all your screens than you realized. It's like, when obvious glare when you've got like a window open and the sun's beaming right onto your TV, but you don't realize there's more glare on that thing than you've noticed. And when you throw these on, it's gone. It's magical. Unlike other brands who use cheap blue light coatings that are ineffective and can chip or scratch, Felix Gray uses a proprietary blue light technology embedded directly into the lens, available in prescription, if you're blind as a bat like me, non-prescription, and readers. Felix Gray has you covered with optical glasses for work and sleep glasses in the evening that are clinically proven to increase melatonin secretion when worn leading up to bedtime. Huge. Why would you buy glasses from a company whose sole focus isn't making glasses? I trust Felix Gray because they make the best blue light glasses in the game. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/OCC and get a pair of blue light glasses from the pros. Shipping and returns are totally free. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/OCC. felixgrayglasses.com/OCC. By the way, if you want more OCC, if you've ever said to yourself, my God, one episode a week, it's not enough, I need more, well, you can get at least one more episode a week by joining the Mollusk Militia, or 3 additional episodes a month by joining the Crustacean Nation on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. Support the podcast. Get additional ad-free episodes of OCC each month. So far in February, we've covered the 2020 Oscars.
We did.
We did a recap and review. Mm-hmm. We did hotline calls for all.
A lot of hotline calls.
To give everybody a taste in both parties of the Crustacean Nation and Mollusk Militia of what exactly a hotline call extravaganza entails, which is the last thing we do of the month for members of the Mollusk Militia exclusively. And then we also have our Throwback Movie Club coming up, which we can announce now, is Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. And I watched Casino Royale this week already. I've already done it. I have taken copious notes. I have a lot to say. It's a fantastic movie.
HBO Go, correct?
HBO Go, yes. And it's just going to be a great pod. It'll be movie club as you know it, but obviously I think it'll lead to other conversations around Bond in general. And then about just action movie franchises and what this one did in the middle of the 2000s when kind of like on the cusp of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all of that. Plus, we'll kind of talk about Daniel Craig's Bond as a whole. I mean,
this No Time to Die is supposed to be his last one,
right?
It's
pretty ripe for conversation. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I have at least 26 bullet points in the notes app on my phone.
26.
I mean, those are about the movie.
Yeah, no, I'm
and then
excited.
Other stuff too. Yeah,
I wasn't saying, Barrett, that's too many.
Too many? No, okay.
Listen, I need you to come back with 7 of those missing. Shoot 7 of them. Pick 7 and murder.
Yeah. Well, you got a call.
Casino Royale is one of my all-time favorite movies, and that's not just in the Bond realm. In general, it's probably in my top 50 ever. I love it. It is in part because I love the setting, the Bahamas.
Yep.
Barrett and I were fortunate enough to go to like this area where some of the stuff is filmed. Well, actually, you were not on the trip where we went to the.
Did you go to the beach club?
Yeah, we went to the one where he drops the car, whatever, on all the cars, and then he goes inside and wins that dude. Yeah, we went there. It was tight as hell.
Okay, well,
so sick.
just small preview.
Yeah,
this is honest to God. Casino Royale is probably in the top 15, no doubt, of the movies that I have watched the most.
Really?
Yeah. Somehow this movie just like
it's great vibes though.
I just like not only have I put it on several times, but it's one that if it's on TV, I always click on it. Like
also the babes. Wow. And great Bond girls.
I've just seen it many, many times. This watch was the first time that I think I actively realized that is the Bahamas that he's in.
Really? What the hell is wrong with you?
Because I just always like. You put Bond at a beach, and I kind of just automatically assume it's some exotic place in Europe I've never been before.
Okay.
It's like Monaco or maybe something even more exotic. Maybe he's in South Africa. Maybe he's in Cape Town. I don't know. But it's just
You're a Bond snob. You're a beach snob.
I just the way that I think about Bond, I always think that
a Bond beach snob.
Yeah, and I'm like, so this time I was like, oh wait, this is the Bahamas?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. It's like Paradise Island and shit area too.
Yeah. Well,
good stuff.
Give me the Bahamian vibes, baby.
I'm all for. I also love poker. Huge on poker. Big fan. We used to play poker all the time in high school. We had like a little poker squad.
Yeah. We were there.
Degenerate gamblers.
That was the rise of Texas Hold'em.
It was.
It became a national phenomenon.
It was like the World Series of Poker was like
people were
the hottest thing in the world.
People were putting on ESPN
to watch
for the sole purpose of watching the World Series of Poker.
And I will say,
how crazy is that?
People still do that.
Oh yeah, but what do you think? Like
way lower percentage. Way lower
of the percentage that were doing that in 2004 or 5.
It was at the height of pop culture, at that point, which we specialize in, and we know everything about.
We do, yeah.
And so we played a ton of Texas Hold'em back in the day, which is that's sort of the reason it folded into this time period. And that made it even cooler, and then I loved what they do. Anyway, we're going to talk all about Casino Royale on Patreon, break down the movie, review it as a whole, get into the new movie and what we're looking forward to about No Time to Die, and give you all the takes about Bond that we've got that we didn't unload just now. So, patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. Support the show. Get more OCC ad-free every single month. 3 episodes in the in the Crustacean Nation. 4 episodes in the Mollusk Militia, where you receive the Hotline Call Extravaganza every month to close it out. And, you also gain access to the stuff that we published in the prior month. Now, I did have somebody reach out and tell me that there may be some limit to the backlog on Patreon. So I need to go in there and check and see if there's some type of a limit. I have no idea. I need to go back and see how deep it goes. But you should have at least the last several episodes to go through, and I will see what all that's about.
When you get in there, when you go back, just get in there nice and deep.
I'm going to get in there real nice and deep. Real nice and deep. Okay. All right, let's talk about The Outsider.
Okay.
Season 1, Episode 7, titled In the Pines. In the Pines.
In the Pines. In the Pines. Ross, big picture.
Yeah.
Act like we're in 5th grade here, and you're writing a book report about this episode. Give me the main point. What what happened in this episode? What was the main point?
Well, not much progress was made in the way of plot. I suppose my main takeaway was that El Cuco doesn't have as directive control over these rash guys as I perhaps thought he did.
Okay.
Because why let Holly get away? But also, now there's vast confusion for me because Holly ends the episode for her with this vision or dream of herself not getting away, being shot.
That's right.
And then waking up screaming into the void to scare the living shit out of me.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what that was about.
But in terms of like, if they broke this up, so I'll give you the description. I'll give you their synopsis that they put out.
Okay.
Holly tries to help a volatile but conflicted Jack while their whereabouts are being tracked by Ralph and Alec. After she's confronted by gossip, Glory considers Howie's suggestion on how to secure her family's financial future. So I guess maybe there were subtle things about where these characters were sort of going from here. I don't know. Why do you ask?
Because I have like a one sentence. Actually,
you have an answer.
I just have a 3-word sentence. 3 words for what this episode did for me.
Hit me.
Holly escapes Jack.
Yep. That's what happened.
That's it.
Yeah, no, she got away.
Last episode ended with it looking pretty dire for her.
Bleak.
Yeah, pretty bleak.
Not good odds.
And then she tricks him and she gets away. In this episode.
Turns out Jack fell for the old I have to go to the bathroom trick.
Yeah, who falls for that? But then the thing where you break the window, but then you don't go out the window, that was pretty sneaky.
Double back to the car.
Yeah, that was
He's
good.
out of the car. Uh-huh.
You're
Guy
right,
can't
though.
shoot
I forgot Glory decides to sue everybody.
Yeah, and then somebody suggests she sell her house, too.
Yeah, but she says no. She says, no way. I'm staying. Digging my heels in, baby.
Yeah,
I'm
calling the fucking lawyers.
Is that even supposed to matter to me right now?
Holly?
No, Glory.
I'm sorry, Glory.
Suing? I got the cuckoo to worry about, and you're serving me up B plot lines about
Here's
Glory
what I'm thinking.
suing the city?
It's got to be something about where we're because we know more family members and shit have to break.
Yeah.
So Glory has to go somewhere darker or something. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm the least interested in Glory of every character. She's about the same level of Ralph in terms of intrigue for me right now, which is Ralph is 7 episodes deep of dealing with El Cuco and has failed to make any progress in acknowledging that it actually exists.
Yeah, it's always, to a certain degree, we watch shows like this that deal with the paranormal, and you relate to the skeptics, right?
Sure.
Because
that's the way the world
generally
goes.
how we feel
Generally,
here in our reality.
About things we can't see
About
in
things
particular.
we can't explain.
Things we don't understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're skeptical.
They breed fear.
Aliens, ghosts, the whole shebang,
Literally anything we don't understand.
Yeah.
For some people, it's race.
But then we get in the show's reality, and there is an overwhelming amount of evidence pointing to the existence of something supernatural and unexplainable.
At the very least, sinister.
And it's like, okay, well, now we're dealing with a different reality where there is concrete evidence of this stuff. We don't live in that reality. So we're no longer relating to the skeptics. We're just getting pissed off that they're keeping their heads buried in the sand.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We're like, hey.
Like Ralph and Glory, shut the fuck up and look at what's happening here.
Get out of our reality.
Because it's the cuckoo, man.
Yeah,
it's the cuckoo.
It's clearly El Cuckoo. It's so clearly El Cuckoo. I started watching Narcos season, it's Narcos Mexico season 2.
Yeah.
And I just keep wondering at what point will there be an El Cuco named gangster?
El Coco.
Maybe in reality.
Coco.
Yeah. Coco?
Cuckoo?
I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, man. So Ralph going to like his shrink and melting down and still not even being able to say anything was truly pathetic.
Yeah.
That dude, no one's been ever less in touch with their feelings than Ralph. His shrink is bored.
Yeah.
He's dealing with a paranormal, sinister being, and his psychiatrist is bored.
Well, he's not said that out loud to the
Open up. He won't open up, Barrett.
He won't. I know he
You
won't.
have to open up for therapy to work. Spill your beans, Tommy. You have to.
Yeah, you gotta spill the tea.
Anyway, Ralph fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just the back half of this season just feels it's just confirming, like, did this need to be 10? That it didn't need to be 10 episodes.
I'm waiting to see if there's a reason that they felt that way. But so far, I'm guessing it's Stephen King self-masturbatory purposes. Like he was like, "Oh, you want me to? You guys want to do
maybe
8?
Like the book deal." That's actually, who knows what the contract
He could have
says.
structured it
maybe
where he
it
was
says
like,
if you
nah.
option it for a TV show, it's minimum 10 episodes.
Maybe. I don't know, but I have a feeling it comes down to stuff like that sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where an author in particular could want to protect their story and not have things cut out. I don't know.
It's just kind of, it's interesting to me because, we're starting off 2020 here. It's our first full year where we're talking about all of the television we watch, in a 12-month calendar year, right?
Sure, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm already thinking about my 2020 best list.
Rankings, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, this is the type of stretch that pulls the Outsider that will end up pulling the Outsider off of my top 5.
Now
because I really enjoy the show. I love the mood. I like the
the actors,
the content and the acting and the subject matter. But it's like, I'm not going to forget that episodes 6 and 7, we have 3 more of these.
Yeah. Okay.
That
Hear me
episodes
out.
6 and 7 are like, what the shit, man?
I had a conversation with one of the dudes I game with on twitch.tv/bossrollin about the show. And this came up. Like, obviously, this is the big conversation point around The Outsider, is that it's these middle episodes here that nothing's happening, that they could have clearly cut it shorter and made it 8, that, why are they so slow, whatever. And what we were bringing up was that if you look back at, like, Game of Thrones seasons, there were typically, if you got lucky, 4 episodes that were fucking sick, that really stand out in your mind. Mm-hmm. And then there's 6 episodes where shit's just getting pushed along or the table's being set or whatever. There's a couple of seasons where if you go down the list of episodes, like, it's like this last few years post-Thrones or like tail end of Thrones into post-Thrones we've become more, there's so much damn good TV that we're more like, our time is more precious to us. We don't want there to be drawn out stories. We want it to be more like succinct almost, right? Because that's what I end up feeling with these is I'm like, well, shit, it would have been like less time for me to sit down and consume your product if you had made it shorter.
Yeah, no. So I agree and disagree with 2 parts of what you said.
Okay.
That back half there, that is absolutely true. That is I'm almost positive that is the largest factor in the way that I feel the way I feel about everything now. It's why I don't like movies that are 3 hours long. It's like why I'm asking why this couldn't have been 8 episodes instead of 10. It's because I want to get back to sex education. I want to get back to Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I've got the McMillions to watch. I've got the new Hulu shit coming out. It's like there's so much, right? So there's so much that it's like we're very, very sensitive to people wasting our time.
Yes,
now
for sure. Yeah,
and so that's. Absolutely. Just to hit on the thing that you were talking about with a fellow gamer, I feel like we kind of proved in our night's rewatch that some of those episodes where we may have originally felt like they were like slow, ended up kind of being the reason why we liked Game of Thrones so much in the first place.
Sure. The conversations.
Yeah, and it's right. And
so it doesn't hold that kind of weight necessarily on The Outsider.
And especially because that one we knew it was like a long plotting story that was going many seasons.
And every conversation was so important to understanding what was going to happen down the road or what had happened in the past. Yeah.
And this one, I mean, like, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to give the outsider a break. Like, did this develop character any further for us? Did it help us understand anybody else better? Maybe Jack a little bit.
So the only thing
we know Jack is like a reluctant subject of this thing. He really doesn't want to do this bad shit. Like he's trying as hard as he can.
It's almost as if Jack's experience with El Cuco, when we met Jack, he was a dickhead already.
Yeah.
Then he El Cucos, and now because of his experience, he's like a better guy, as he's possessed still, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you can see that he's so broken, right? And it's just like, yeah, I mean, the thing I ask myself is, okay, if it didn't push any of the characters forward like that, if it didn't develop any character, like we already knew Ralph was skeptical, we already knew Jack was had some softness to him somewhere in there. We'd seen it in the past couple episodes as well. It just came forth even more in this one. We knew Holly was smart and Jack was dumb, but I didn't think he would let her escape. I mean, we knew Glory was melting down and things were not going well for her already.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't. So then I asked myself, what other questions did it introduce? Mm-hmm. So did it make me ask any new questions about the entity? No, not really. Did it make me ask any new questions about, I don't know, any of the characters and their motivations? Not really. It's the same shit. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe this one wasn't great. Maybe it wasn't. But
yeah.
Honestly, when it ended for me, I wasn't like, damn, that was a waste of time. I was like, okay, same dark shit. I get it.
I think you actually made a point that I hadn't really given as much weight to, and that is what is its level of control over the net guys? Because, you know, at one point, Ralph, or one of the police officers, talks about how they weren't going to the barn. In fact, they went 2 hours in the opposite direction, which was kind of peculiar.
And it was like, was that him lying to her or protecting her?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so we know that Jack is like, and we talk about how he was dumb to let her escape, but that also probably has to do with the fact that it's a big piece of him
wanted her to escape.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he literally is like, give me your phone. Mm-hmm. So he knows it's like she's going to try to escape. Like, he knows. Yeah. And then he still sits there for a few minutes and lets her figure out a way to fucking get out of there. So,
yeah. So that's, I don't know. It's just, we're kind of, you know, we're looking for things to pull from this episode, which means that the meat of this episode should have been packaged up into like 15 minutes and put with the 30 minutes that were good from the last episode and, you know, cut one off this bad boy.
So what's with the strip club guy? We're still waiting for the other shoe to fall with this fella. That's shocking, by the way, that we still that shows you the pacing here. That guy has a clock. The hour has not changed. Mans doesn't even have a rash.
Did he quit in this episode? Right? Did he
got
quits?
fired? I think, or I don't know.
I think he quits. He says he's going to move. He's moving elsewhere.
Yeah. God, that can't be good. Jack hitchhiked with that guy, with a truck driver.
Uh-huh.
Jack can scratch, right? Didn't Jack?
No, Jack can't scratch.
Jack can't scratch.
Jack can't scratch.
Jack talked Thai.
That's right.
Jack talked Thai very well.
Do you think, more importantly, did you think he followed the rules of the road?
Grass, ass, or gas? What is it? Is that it? Are those the rules of the road?
Yeah. I think
I got it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm a fucking hippie. That nobody should have that in their head that didn't live in that era. What's wrong with me?
But I'm also thinking of.
There's a few. I feel like the one I served up is the most politically correct.
Who makes somebody? Yeah, you did absolutely. Is it? Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob. Okay, all right.
Well,
and then there's also Harold. Is it a Harold and Kumar one where they get in the pickup truck with the crazy. The crazy.
What, Santa?
He's like a crazy trucker who lives out in the middle of nowhere, and he brings
that
him back.
Sounds like something that would happen in Harold and Kumar.
And he's got a hot wife, and he tells them that they can have sex with his
That's
hot
not
wife.
Harold and Kumar. What is that? What is that? What movie is that?
White Castle.
White? Oh, it is. Yes. Okay, it is. It's Harold and Kumar. Go to White Castle. The first one. Holy shit, dude. Yes. What? Dude, I haven't seen that in so long. Those movies are so fucking stupid. But that first one. Holy shit. Did you ever watch Harold and Kumar Guantanamo Bay?
Sadly, I did. Yeah. In
So
fact,
did I.
I think I even saw Guantanamo Bay in theaters.
I maybe have seen it. I might have seen it with you then.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's no way we both saw it separately
That's
in
true.
theaters. That's impossible.
That would be
That's impossible, sir. And then, holy shit! I just remember there was like a 17-minute opening scene about like slurping dong in the can, and I was like, "Why am I in here? Holy crap! Things have gone horribly wrong." How the hell did we get to Harold and Kumar?
Freak
Oh,
Show.
Truck
Freak Show
drivers.
is that guy's name.
Freak Show, yeah, Freak Show. And isn't it the dude from?
From Law and Order, Christopher Maloney.
Is he also from? There's something about Mary, the guy that gets stuff on his face.
No.
That's not Freak Show. Damn it. They're in the same category of weird in my head for some reason.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Where were we?
Yeah. Back to The Outsider. So no, I think that's about it. Like, if they were just like trying to show us they could continue to stretch out the darkness, they succeeded.
Yeah.
I did see quite a bit of like hooting and hollering on Twitter about, one tweet I saw, and I'll say this is the extreme reaction, is the show's getting worse by the week. I don't think that's necessarily fair. I think based on the product we've seen so far, my rule of 3 that normally you got to see 3 before you can even judge. Man, we were good. Through 3 we were good. So you owe them the season before you can really say those middle episodes were trash or not, because we got to see how it builds. Like, I've got to see. Here's a question I have for you to close out too. Mm-hmm. Do you think we get a definitive answer about this entity, or is it dealt with definitively?
So, again, and I'm qualifying this based on my expectations and kind of like what my final judgment will be.
Okay.
For me now, with 3 full hours left to go, if they don't wrap this up with something concrete, I will call this show like
Poopy.
Pretty middling, I guess. It will end up being one that started off really hot and just like really flamed out.
Sure.
I
agree.
Because now, if there was 1 episode left, I'd be like, no, I think they're going to go
Cut us off with some
really vague and kind of abstract and like, what was this evil thing? And maybe it would escape and go away and bury itself for 27 years or do some weird Stephen King shit like that.
Do the Pennywise thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Down the well. Oh, see you guys in 2 years for the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, with 3 hours to go,
I feel you. That's a lot.
Especially because like I want these next episodes to be really entertaining and good, which means that it feels like next week needs to start trying to ride another wave of like crazy shit happening.
How many days have passed since El Cuco last got his?
You think it feels like it's got to be close to the 27 or whatever,
right?
and it's about to be ready to do its thing again.
Was The Ring 27 days?
7.
Oh, way less time.
Yeah.
You do not get long if you watch that videotape, which nearly killed me in theaters, frankly, just from that minute of watching it. So,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, The Outsider, we'll see. We got a few more, 3 hours more. Jesus, God, when you put it that way, it seems like.
It's also like, it's crazy that I gotta wait. It's gonna be another month before we know the ending to this thing.
And I want more Bateman. Give us some more Bateman.
Yeah.
Give me some old flashbacks to Bateman.
Yeah. Tell us my flashback, huh?
And to answer the question I presented with you with, I don't think we will get a definitive answer.
Okay.
And it's going to be very upsetting for that reason, and especially after you put it the way you did, that there are 3 hours remaining. So, moving on from there, today's episode of OCC is also brought to you by Quip, makers of the Quip electric toothbrush, and they want you to know the one single discovery that matters most for your dental care. It is simply this: if you have good habits, you are good. That means brushing for 2 minutes twice a day, flossing regularly, no matter what brand you use. Quip makes that simple, starting with an electric toothbrush, refillable floss, and anti-cavity toothpaste. Quip's electric toothbrush has sensitive sonic vibrations with a built-in timer and 30-second pulses to guide a full and even clean. Probably my favorite feature about the Quip. I've been using it for a few years now. Best toothbrush in the world. But this sonic vibrations that it gives off to let you know when you need to switch. from one side of your mouth to the other, from top to bottom, to make sure that you get every tooth, every nook and cranny and crevice inside of your mouth is incredible. It leaves you feeling like you just left the dentist every time you brush. The Quip floss dispenser, comes with pre-marked string to help you use just enough. Plus, Quip delivers fresh brush heads, floss, and toothpaste. Refills to your door every 3 months with free shipping, so your routine is always right. Your brush head, it wears out. You need a new one. Boom, comes in the mail. Join over 3 million healthy mouths and get Quip today starting at $25. And if you go to getquip.com/dragon right now, you'll get your first refill completely free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/dragon, GETQUIP.com/dragon. Quip,
Dragon.
the good habits company. Now, Curb Your Enthusiasm's 5th episode in the 10th season.
Yes.
Titled Insufficient Praise. Larry receives a problematic gift from Freddie Funkhauser, who it turns out is Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
Welcome back to HBO, Vince Vaughn, after a slight hiatus after what was one of the more horrific and failed characters in the history of television. I like Vince Vaughn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be honest, when I saw him on screen, I was kind of hoping he was playing Vince Vaughn, like that he was going to be Vince Vaughn.
Okay.
Because you never know. Sometimes you'll get a celebrity and it's that celebrity, but most of the time they're playing some other character, I guess. He gives Larry a sex doll.
He has it mailed to him.
Gifts
Discreet packaging. Do not puncture.
Mailman, though.
He knows. The mailman knows.
Rat bastard, that mailman. He
Lionel.
gives Larry a sex doll, and it's a more classic one, right? It's not one of the advanced models, the newer models,
right. It
the
didn't come
ones.
from Japan.
Mm-hmm. Larry thinks it's weird. Of course, his roommate does not. He's into it.
I guess it could have come from Japan. Maybe they've got the old school ones there too.
Perhaps.
But they definitely have the cutting edge.
Yeah, we don't want to discredit the Japanese and say that they don't have the model that perhaps was offered in this episode.
That's right.
They seem to be on the forefront of sex doll technology.
Yeah, they're on the cutting edge of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got this. They got it all. They've got it. Yeah, Leon loves it though. So
he's all about it. What's his name? It Stacy,
Mary or something. So
Sherry.
Bicho Sherry. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what Leon names a damn sex doll, but he's into it. He's obviously tapping that ass. He doesn't deflate it when he's asked to by Larry, and the sex doll ends up causing the exact havoc you expect it to.
It does.
From the second he's gifted the sex doll, everyone watching the episode knew, well, at least one person's going to walk in on Larry looking like he's attempting to have sex with the sex doll. And then it just so happened it was like a few people.
Yeah, man, I need to go back and watch some older episodes. I think this is what Curb has always done. It's usually like really kind of like, it's like simple classic comedy setups, right?
Right.
Like Larry gets a sex doll. Somebody's going to walk in on him humping the sex doll.
Yes.
Like that's the setup.
What kind of idiot tries to deflate a sex doll in that manner?
By doing doggy style to it?
and then gets caught and then continues to do it and allows another person to catch them.
But yeah, it's this one again. Like I think with Curb, it requires much thought when you're placing episodes up in like the top categories. This one was maybe my favorite of the season so far.
Really?
I think it's between this one and the first one.
Okay, so. Yeah. What was your favorite part of it? Did you like the professional crier as a character?
Well, first of all, we already talked about Vince Vaughn as Freddie Funkhauser, who I thought was great. But this one had a bunch of celeb cameos. Clive Owen is Clive Owen. Isla Fisher is the professional crier.
There you go. Yeah, there's two examples of one or the other.
And Vince Vaughn as Freddie Funkhauser. All were played brilliantly. I loved every single one of them.
The professional crier, she crushed that. She really did.
Yes. I feel like, do you think that it was like wink wink at all when they like talk about going to weddings and crying, since she's most famous for Wedding Crashers?
Oh, I didn't get that. No.
Okay.
Nah.
All right. Well, it definitely reminded me of that. Oh, and hey, Vince Vaughn was in the yeah. So they had that connection.
I didn't even put wow.
Yeah.
Wow, silly goose.
But then it just had it had the hilarious hijinks with the sex doll. Larry exclaiming over the sandwiches after he told Clive Owen that he couldn't do it that he couldn't lavish praise on somebody 2 seconds earlier was awesome. But then the scenes that just get me the most are just like the random ones. The one that stood out to me this episode was when Larry and Leon are just like trying to eye each other down.
Where was the dun, 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 dun. Usually it plays that one specific tune when Larry does the face-off with somebody, and as they were doing it to each other, I kept waiting for it, and it never came. I was so disappointed.
But yeah, he's like, why are you always looking at me like that?
Yeah.
Why do you look at me like that? And they're like both trying to like get the higher ground to eye each other.
Yes.
It's just, I was just like, I was cracking up, man.
Yeah,
I really was.
It was, listen, it was something about the tone of this one that worked throughout, right? It's like that there's episodes where the silliness bothers you a little because you're like, this is so fucking stupid. And then there's episodes like this one where it's just silly as shit throughout, and for some reason it just doesn't matter. Like, it's the celebrities that they bring, like Clive Owens. It's such a strange role, right? Because you're playing you, but you're playing a like douchier, shittier, dumbass version of you that Larry has created so that he can laugh at you.
Yeah,
and it's very unscripted, obviously. So you're sort of they always have a weird sort of vibe to them. Like he's not as familiar with how Curb works, so Clive sort of stands out in that way. And it's like, I don't know. It's just there's so many weird elements to this show.
Yeah.
But the episode was hysterical.
Just give me anytime Larry and another guy are just yelling at each other, or Susie for that matter, or just Larry and another person, when they do the elevated screaming thing, and where it just like keeps escalating,
and then it climaxes, and
they're just screaming at each other. Yeah. Like that just gets me every single time. And he had a moment. What was he screaming at Jeff about? I can't. I don't even remember.
Talking about where they're yelling at each other and then they sit down as if nothing happened and continue their conversation. Yeah. There's been a couple of moments this season where they've included that transition, and I've almost cried laughing.
But Jeff you can see that they keep having to cut away from Jeff and go to the Larry shot because Jeff is like this close to breaking.
He can't last.
He cannot. Yeah, in every single shot, which just everybody knows that breaking is hilarious. Tracy Jordan, best of all. And you love seeing those like little seams in the show. Like Jeff is clearly about to die laughing, screaming at Larry here.
Dude, I don't know how many takes they have to do to get those scenes off where they're screaming at each other like that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so first of all, Carrie Fisher's character, or Isla Fisher, how do you say it? Isla Fisher's character. She starts out dating Richard Lewis in this episode, ends up dating
Clive Owen,
who then also figures out and is upset by the fact that she's a professional crier.
That's right.
She ends up being flinging herself into the street
to save the stole,
just like the story she told.
Just like
Larry.
her mom, just like her dead mother.
There was so many, like, when you say that out loud, it's so Seinfeld. And then like there was anything in a theater with Larry, all made me think. Seinfeld played with stuff like that before. What was it that they did the episode about? There was a Pez dispenser.
The Pez dispenser, yeah.
And then, but Elaine upset somebody by... Anyway, it doesn't matter. It just had
There
all
are
those...
multiple scenes in Seinfeld in movie theaters or in theaters
right. There's
of some
a lot.
sort.
There's a lot.
There's the Maestro.
Yes, there's a lot.
They go see Rochelle.
Yeah.
There's yeah.
So that had like it. Just a lot of this hit me with Seinfeld vibes too. And then it was a great one.
I feel like this season in particular has been throwing back to Seinfeld or using some of its kind of tropes very frequently.
I feel definitely more so than in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's like a matter of almost like space and time.
Even the mailman. They got Lionel. He's basically Newman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even considered that. Yeah. To bring in a Newman-esque mailman. Maybe this is the season he's just like, fuck it, I'm just going to use the tight shit I've got in the bag. Why not?
It's great. I'm
all for it too.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I feel like I'm getting an extra season of Seinfeld in some points. So it's
a little bit, yeah.
It's great.
No, keep it going. Where we got 5 more. We're halfway through. No complaints there. We don't need. Whoa. So how's Latte Larry's going? I guess that's the only real plot point, right, of the season.
So that's kind of what I was going to ask too. I feel like other seasons of Curb have had more overarching plot points.
They have. It's been much more heavily involved.
Not saying that I missed that necessarily. I'm just wondering if they're going to try to connect it all at some point. A little bit.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
That's always his thing, right? That's what they were masters of. It's those like glorious crescendos of all the chaos they created, Larry and Jerry.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking forward to.
So. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Ted Danson
that's
is
the new
backing
development
Mocha
there.
Joe.
New financial investor, financial backer for Mocha Joe.
Ted Danson also walks over to Cheryl's house and tells her point blank, "Your husband is fucking a doll," and then walks off.
As a friend.
Your ex-husband is fucking a doll.
Yeah. So it's the Latte Larry Mocha Joe. That's the kind of ongoing plot point.
Yeah.
Larry's developing new urinals. Yeah.
Leon immediately tells him, like, what does he say? He's like, I don't want to brag, but he says a woman literally flossed his butt cheeks with his Johnson.
I thought he said they gave him a wedgie with his
him a wedgie with his Johnson. Yeah. That's a real line delivered in this show, man. Leo, it just kills me, man. The silliest, most immature, ridiculous shit. And just packaged in with all these insane life tropes. Yeah, okay. Curb's great. Moving on. This episode of OCC is also brought to you by Liquid IV. Did you know half of Americans report they fight with daily fatigue? Maybe you recognize some of the signs of low energy. Decreased focus, lack of motivation, poor mood, unhappiness. Who wants those things? Nobody. Liquid IV Energy Multiplier gives you sustained energy throughout the day. Fight fatigue without the crash. It's the perfect replacement for morning coffee and an all-natural alternative to processed energy drinks. Premium matcha and green energy blend tastes delicious and provides a lasting energy boost throughout the day. The fatigue-fighting boost you'd get from a couple cups of coffee without the crash contains a mixture of teas and herbs high in antioxidants that help improve mood and focus. It's a healthier alternative to traditional energy drinks and coffee. No artificial flavors or preservatives. Liquid IV's cellular transport technology, otherwise known as CTT, delivers an optional ratio of nutrients for more efficient uptake. Enhanced rapid absorption into the bloodstream gives you a lasting energy boost. Fast, powers your mornings, fuels long days at work, and provides a boost for those tough workouts. Clean ingredients, non-GMO, vegan, and free of gluten, dairy, and soy. Convenient, TSA-friendly, single-serving packets, perfect for travel. You may know Liquid IV for their hydration multiplier. Spoken to that many times. Love it. Drink one almost every morning after yoga, after a run, whatever, whenever I'm feeling dehydrated. Well, now
I like to multiply my hydration on Saturday and Sunday mornings, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah, give us that wink from Arrested Development. Hit us with that. Yeah, well, now they have an energy multiplier as well, and my God, it's just as good, if not better, for before yoga or before a run or in the morning to start your day, or instead of that second cup of coffee, or you can replace coffee altogether, whatever the hell you want.
Matcha.
Liquid IV.
It's big in Argentina.
Matcha. It's delicious and effective. Get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com. Use the code DRAGON. That's the word, Dragon. You use it at checkout. Plug it in. 25% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website. Just go to liquidiv.com. Enter the promo code DRAGON to save 25% and get better hydration and energy. That's liquidiv.com. Promo code DRAGON. Don't wait. Start fueling your adventures today.
Yeah, well, you have to call me Dragon.
All right, now it's time to do a top five. I really hyped this at the top of the show.
You did.
There's a reason for that. This man recently received his first Academy Award for acting.
You're talking about...
His name is Bradley Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You may know him as Brad Pitt.
That's how I know him. That's how I have him saved in my... That's how I have his number saved on my phone anyway.
Yeah. You guys had the same hairstylist.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I try.
Brad Pitt recently won Best Supporting Actor for his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's film that we covered on Movie Club on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles a few months back. Had a great time, thoroughly enjoyed it. Brad Pitt's top 5 movies are what we're going to do today. We've been doing top 5 characters here and there sporadically, top 5 actors and actresses, rather. And we've arrived at Mr. Pitt. Now, what I found when I was digging through several dozen lists of Brad Pitt's best movies, best Brad Pitt movies, Brad Pitt's best dramas, Brad Pitt's best comedies, blah, 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 blah. What I found, Barrett, is that of everyone we've done so far, this is far and away the most difficult for me, and what I believe to be perhaps the most impressive resume beyond well beyond what I imagined in my head.
Yeah, it's deep. He goes way back, and I think that I don't exactly know when this was, but there was a narrative. Maybe it was the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, where there was kind of like a narrative of is Brad Pitt really a good actor type thing?
Yeah. It sort of came into play, or is he just really hot?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but that's certainly not what you gather when you look at this guy's IMDb page. You know what I mean?
He's absolutely shattered that reputation. He's fucking dumped all over it.
Yeah, right. And yeah, it's deep. It's great. I think that we talked a little bit about it when we talked about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but
here's what let me say this though. Great, but it's what we'll start going through this list of his movies, and then we'll gather our top 5 from it.
Mm-hmm.
What I find when I start to go through it is it's not that there's like this insane amount of my favorite movies ever. It's that there's an insane amount of very high quality movies or good movies. Like there's just a lot of movies I would rewatch, have rewatched many times, like in every different category you could imagine, really too.
Yeah, and this will be par for the course for me, but there are a lot of like ones that I know are really, really famous that you've probably seen that I haven't seen, or if I have, it was many years ago.
Yeah, there are only a couple of his that I haven't.
I don't really like I can't, just to throw one out there, I can't really comment on Interview with the Vampire, but I know it's like supposed to be great. It's super famous.
It's a good movie. I mean, it's not one of my. It doesn't make my top 5.
Didn't see Legends of the Fall.
Really good movie,
That's
but
it,
also it's like, okay, you have to watch that one at some point.
So, anyways, so I just feel like my personal relationship with Brad Pitt is more with his more modern,
his newer stuff.
Yeah.
If you watch Legends of the Fall, make sure you catch it on TBS when you have like the flu or horrific food poisoning or something that causes you to not be able to leave the house because it'll take up the whole 8 hours. It's like a 16-hour movie, and with commercials, it's 4.5 days long.
Gotcha. That's great.
It'll get you through everything, Barry.
Good to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think the other kind of interesting thing is what I was about to say, just in regards to our discussion around Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is how he another like piece of his acting career, part of the narrative now is like Brad Pitt is a good leading man, but he is also an awesome character actor when he wants to be.
Yeah, if you give him something that fits into his repertoire, sort of.
He's carried some shit, but some of like just the best, most awesome pieces of acting work from him are when he's in like these smaller roles.
I'll give you my favorite one ever.
And just has like something more obscure to chew on.
I'll give you my favorite one ever. Arguably the best one of his that he's ever done for me is Snatch. He's the parky boxer.
Yeah.
He's not a main character.
Yep.
But he is a main character. Who's a main character in that movie?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't understand a goddamn word he says. It's an incredibly random, eccentric, weird character to do that has like athleticism tied in, and he fucking kills it.
Yeah,
it's one of the best parts of the movie.
Any of the he's great in an ensemble as well.
Yes.
So
he's seemingly does not have any problem with not being the top billed guy.
Correct.
Sort of throughout his career, if you look back. So let's talk about some of the older ones. Like, okay, one of the first times Brad Pitt was on a big screen was True Romance, right? He just plays that stoner that's sort of like a classic American character now.
Floyd.
Yeah. And then he was in like a few things here and there back in the 90s that were hard. Like, was Seven in the 90s? Was that in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. 95.
So that was an example of one where you saw sort of the chops had started to develop. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like kill that role. I'll say this.
So the movie, I know this just from like reading about him. The movie that like put him on the map, like as a name, was Thelma and Louise. It's a very small part,
right?
And then,
but everybody was like, "Holy shit, who's that guy?"
It's weird the memories that you kind of carry out of your childhood, but my dad, who was like very, and when I was growing up, we did a lot of this as well. But like, we tied our own ties. We went fly fishing in Colorado. We went on like these outdoor trips like this.
Barrett's an Eagle Scout.
So 92's A River Runs Through It was also another big one. And I remember that one was like, who is this man? He is the most beautiful person living currently. Like,
yeah, it was acknowledged at that point.
What is this guy gonna do?
Yeah.
Now he was.
You're exactly right. That was sort of
and that was
my
92.
first experience with Brad Pitt. Was like, okay, this dude's clearly the shit. Well, now what?
Yeah, and so then he did Interview with the Vampire, Legends of the Fall, and Seven, all in 94, 95.
So he had a nice little role there already. Like, because I'll watch any of them shits again. Right there.
Yeah.
Meet Joe Black is sort of a random one.
7 years. I mean, yeah. How about this 90s? Like, Interview with the Vampire, Legends of the Fall, 7, 12 Monkeys, Sleepers, 7 Years into Bed.
I love Sleepers.
Meet Joe Black. Right into Fight Club and Snatch. I mean,
and that's when it starts to get really, really gnarly. Is when you get into the later stuff. He started to really figure out how to pick them, and he also got into the production and directing side of things,
that's right. Yep.
Which really helps. Clearly helped with his understanding because my God. So like I'll say the last one that was a big, big movie that Brad Pitt was the leading man that I walked away and I was like, they should have fucking... The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Where does that even sit in anybody's movie lexicon? What the hell was that? If you go back and even read the synopsis, it's legitimately insane that they attempted to pull this movie off. He ages in reverse.
You want me to just drop a bombshell on you right now?
I don't care if you've never seen it.
It's my number one.
How? Benjamin Button is your number one Brad Pitt movie ever. Okay. Well, I need your case. I have a curious case of how that's your number one.
Okay. First of all, you should know that he was nominated for Best Actor in that movie.
Was he really?
Yeah, and I think the movie was nominated for Best Picture as well.
Okay. Your number one?
It is for me.
Uno.
Yeah, I love
The Loneliest Number.
Yeah, it's probably not my number one movie of all time.
No, I know.
But in our Brad Pitt top five here.
Pitt top five. Yeah.
Incredibly well acted, and for me, I think it was the first time that I was like, "Oh shit!" Like Brad Pitt really can be like a quote unquote actor.
More than just eye candy.
Yeah. You know?
Second, I could see that.
As far as like I love the message of the movie. There's a quote from this book in the movie about basically never being scared to, like, no matter how old you are, to look at your life, say to yourself, this is not what I want or what I want to be doing, and have like the courage to change it.
Right.
So as far as like kind of corny inspo,
sure,
put it on my Pinterest board type shit, I love what this movie has to say.
Okay.
Second or third, it's just like it's for me on my overall list of movies. I think it's criminally underrated.
I can't believe I shit all over it.
So I think I give it extra love because I think people do have like, you know,
now
a lot of people don't think it's a great movie.
And to be fair, it wouldn't have shocked me if it was in your top 5 Brad Pitt movies, but
Okay.
it does shock me that it's your number one, just considering the company. Also, to be fair, I haven't watched The Curious Case of Benjamin Button since college, probably. Mm-hmm. I was a completely different human being. I might love it now.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, guy who complains about movies being long, that movie is long as hell.
It is.
Is that a David Fincher?
Is it David Fincher?
Pretty sure it is.
The Curious Case of Benjamin.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
David.
I had that's yeah.
Yeah, there you go. How about, I'm just confirming that before we watch. Yep, directed by David Fincher, screenplay by Eric Roth. Eric Roth. What was the deal? How's it work?
He ages backwards.
So he's born old as hell,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the movie, he's a baby.
Yeah. Yes. It
Yeah.
is. It's weird, but as far as like kind of out there concepts go,
Okay.
it's really, really fascinating. Like the love of his life, like their relationship ends because
Because he's a
they're
baby.
Because they're moving in opposite directions. So
He's like Keith.
even though they both like fall in love when they're 30 years old or whatever, they then have to deal with the fact of what's happening is that he is like aging to become a young boy and she is becoming an older woman. So it's just like
That's a different problem.
I don't know. It's really you should definitely watch it.
I'll
again,
watch it again.
because
All right, I will. All right. Since it's your number one, I respect it now. I feel like I fucking have to, especially after I just literally pooped on it.
Again, I'll add. I think I probably give it extra love because I know that there's a lot of. It's not universally loved.
Right. No, clearly not.
Yeah.
Clearly. Okay, let me throw out some other really good ones and see if any of them made your top five.
Okay.
And they're ones that didn't make mine, but they're really good.
Okay.
Moneyball. Really good Brad Pitt movie. Fantastic baseball movie. Jonah Hill's awesome in it too. This was one of the ones where I was like, yo, this guy can carry for sure. He's badass. He can do a character. He can kill it. Billy Bean. Billy Bean? Is that
Billy
his name?
Bean, yeah, and that's his other acting nomination
That he got nommed for?
Nommed for at the Academy Awards. It's not in my top five, but it's definitely honorable mention. It's a great film.
I recently watched Ad Astra. Have you watched it?
I have not.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also get why it got a lot of heat.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna like smoke weed and watch a Brad Pitt movie for 3 hours, this is not a bad way to spend your time at all. I thought it was cool. The message in particular of it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cheesy, corny, silly a little, yeah, sure. But I love outer space shit, man. You put Brad Pitt in outer space and I'm there.
How did it compare? Because the trailers always gave me like big Interstellar vibes. How did it compare?
I mean, it borrows from some of like the similar. It plays with some stuff like that, but it's not. I wouldn't even. Nah.
Okay.
Other than that, they're both in outer space.
Gotcha.
Nah. It reminded me more of that Clooney movie. Wasn't there one where he was in outer space? Everybody's been in outer space recently. Solaris, was that it?
Or Gravity?
Gravity.
That's Sandra Bullock, but he has a small role in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, small, but important.
Mm-hmm.
No spoilers. Anyway, that was really good. I liked that Astra, and the music in particular. I just thought it was a good movie, man. I really liked it, but it's not my top five. Burn After Reading, really fun movie. I love everything those dudes make.
Yep.
Brad Pitt's character's fucking hysterical.
Yep.
The overly intense, like howdy doody workout trainer. Love it.
I don't know if it was the first time that he ever took a role like this, but that one stands out to me as the first time that it's like, oh, Brad Pitt. That was like, not only is he one of the best looking dudes in the world, now he's totally willing to kind of like make fun of his public persona
And play a dumbass. Yeah.
And just kind of like do these kind of quirkier roles.
Yeah. You want to know one that's great for him that I had to go back and watch, that I've mentioned before that I need to go back and see again, is The Big Short. Doesn't make my top five, and it's one that I must have seen it at a weird time or something.
So The Big Short is...
Because it didn't stick with me well enough. It's not that I didn't enjoy the movie. It's that I don't really remember it, frankly.
Yeah, The Big Short is one of my all-time favorite movies. Certainly of the last 10 years. Certainly of the 2010s.
So I'm assuming it cracks your Brad Pitt top five.
It does not, because this is one of those ones where Brad Pitt plays that's an ensemble movie.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of main guys. It's mostly Steve Carell and Christian Bale.
He's not one of the main guys.
And then like B characters like Ryan Gosling, and then he's like a C character even.
And it's like it doesn't count, sort of.
So it almost doesn't count.
I'm with that.
It's another one where like the guy that he's like, it's kind of an unexpected thing. He pops up and he's playing like this, I think he's like an older professor that...
Yeah, it's really random.
That really knows the stock game.
Yeah, he's going to help him.
Stonks.
Stonks.
Go Stonks. And he's awesome in it. Like, he's perfect. But it's not... But it can't be in my top five because he's on the screen for 15 minutes, basically.
Have you seen The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford?
Never seen it.
I have. Many people consider this to be one of Brad Pitt's best films. Not a fan.
Okay.
Slowest goddamn Western. I love Westerns, man. I just didn't really like this movie. I don't know why. Not in my top five.
Okay.
Needless to say. Allied, which I think he directed as well. Did you see that one?
No.
No.
I wanted to see that, and then that's one that slipped by.
Oh, wait, no. I don't.
Through the cracks.
It's not one he directed, but I did see it, and I really enjoyed it. Not in my top five, but it's one that certainly fits into my good-ass Brad Pitt movies from the past 10 years that I would for sure watch again if it was on TV, and I enjoyed thoroughly when I watched it.
I mean, give me Marion Marion Cotillard.
I can't.
Marion Cotillard,
say
and Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
In any movie.
Yes,
and I'll watch. And I want to
absolutely.
watch them together.
Yep,
I need to see this one.
Allied was cool as shit. Loved it. Fury, on a similar note, very cool movie. I think that is the one he directed, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say he directed every one of them from here on out. Fury was really good. Not in my top 5. Badass war movie. Different story I hadn't heard before. Cool angle. Very well executed. Awesome movie. So again, like you start to see this list of really solid films he's built over this past several years in particular. And then we can get into the ones that did hit my top 5. I'll give you my number 1 first. After much debate, my number 1 Brad Pitt movie is Inglourious Basterds. And it's like almost like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood can't be in front of that for me, because Inglourious Basterds sort of set the table for the Quentin Tarantino-Brad Pitt relationship for that to even develop into Once Upon a Time. And I love how ridiculous his character is in the movie.
Yeah, I have Inglourious Basterds as 3.
Okay.
And it's possible that it's recency bias. You know.
Fair enough. I just, all in all, I really love the movie.
I
love playing with World War II. I love what Tarantino does with everything. But in particular, Brad Pitt's character is so fun and ridiculous and wild and going around carving swastikas into Nazis' heads. And it's just, it's just next level.
Yeah.
So that's my number 1. My number 2 is Snatch. Even with him being a character that's not on screen the whole movie, it's such a badass role. And it really changed, it was one of those movies that got me to be more into movies. When I saw Snatch, I was like, shit, dude, this is crazy. It was like an adrenaline rush, because that's what what's his name, the dude that makes these movies, where every single one of them is
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie movies. It's just like the whole time you're on the edge of your seat, and it's just nonstop.
That's a good point. Snatch came out in 2000, so we were around 14 years old, and 13, 14.
Yeah, it's a super impressionable time period.
Super impressionable time period, and I think, if I remember it correctly, it's like one of the first R-rated movies that my parents not only let me go see, but I think I went with them.
Yeah, they were okay with it.
They were okay with, yeah.
Well, because all the R-ratedness was because of the cussing, and most of it you couldn't understand because of the accents anyway. So you were good.
And so it definitely is one of those, as far as movies in your formative years go, it's one of those that's like, oh man, movies can be
crazy.
Totally something that I knew nothing about and didn't know to expect.
Out of nowhere, completely random, crazy-ass characters coming in out of nowhere,
Right.
wild lines. Yeah. It was just the first movie like that I'd ever seen. Snatch is one of my favorite movies, and as a result, it bumps it up my list all the way to number freaking 2. Fight Club is number 3. I could have put it at 1. I could have put it at 2. Fight Club is just such a good movie, and it's so original and crazy. Obviously, it's based on a book, and I think that's why I end up bumping it down some. But his character in it is awesome. It's one of the defining roles of his career, if not the most defining role of his career up to that point, right? Fight Club changed the whole Brad Pitt, it was like more bad boy, less pretty boy, more bad boy. And it's just one of the most fun movies ever made. Just ridiculous. And I love both those actors, too. Does Fight Club land anywhere on your list?
It does not.
Sad.
So, 2 things. I've only ever seen Fight Club via cable TV.
With commercials?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've never sat down, started Fight Club, and watched it all the way through.
That's wild.
It's probably in the... It probably makes the top 10 movies that I need that are on that list. I need to sit down and watch this movie all the way through.
Yeah.
To have it in my... I'm a guy that talks about film now.
Yeah.
Repertoire.
For sure.
Fight vernacular.
It's awesome. You need to watch that shit.
No
commercials.
I also really don't like Edward Norton.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I really like Edward
Just
Norton.
not I know he's a perfectly nice dude, good actor, but he does absolutely nothing for me as far as magnetism on screen.
Yeah. You know what? It's not necessarily that I disagree with that, but he has Brad Pitt in this movie, so it works.
Yeah.
But also, I'll say American History X is a pretty incredible movie. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot of Ed Norton movies up in my...
It's possible also, how you just sometimes you cannot separate an actor from a movie?
Yeah.
his character in Rounders, it's like I just can't do it.
Wow. That might have been it.
You know?
Wow.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I just can't let go of his Rounders character.
He was so good that he ruined himself for you. Crushed the role so hard. My number 4 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
I got it in there. I want to see it again, too, because I think it might end up higher. It's one of those ones where, like, we had so much going on this past 6 months. I loved the movie. I don't know where it's going to sit for me yet, rankings-wise, in terms of longevity. And then Barrett, my number 5 to close it out, and this was a very difficult decision, leaving out Ocean's 11, 12, 13. That was tough. Not the Tree of Life, not even discussing it, not even mentioning it. My number 5, though, is undoubtedly Troy.
Okay.
And Troy could have been my number 1, and I'm not joking.
Yeah. So if. Just given the first few seconds of the lead up there, that was my guess for your number 5.
Yeah.
It's on my list. Like, it's bolded, and I have honorable mention next to it.
Okay.
Because I almost put it in there.
All right, give me your top 5.
So
1 through 5. So it's mine to repeat real quick. Inglourious Bastards, Snatch, Fight Club, Once Upon a Time, Troy.
Yeah. So ours are pretty similar. I have from 1 to 5, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at number 2, Inglourious Bastards at 3, and again, like I said, like that could easily be recency bias. If I go watch them back to back, maybe I feel differently.
Sure.
But I just loved what he did with the film.
Yeah.
And he was just amazing. Like you watch the Academy Awards, they gave that a segment, a clip somewhere, probably during the nominations, where one of the killers walks in and he's like, "Oh, hey, I remember you. You were talking about something," and like the Austin Butler, that's the actor. He's like, "Yeah, I said the Dark Knight is coming," and he's like, "No, it's dumber than that." And it's just like he's so funny in it too. Anyway, that was my number 2. Inglourious Bastards at 3.
The Satanist.
Snatch at 4 for me. The Pikey is just an all-timer.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
Periwinkle Blue.
yeah. You like dags?
It's from me, ma.
And then I have the Oceans franchise at 5 because
This bumped Troy, man.
it bumped Troy.
That's fair for you.
They do similar things for me in like the pantheon, like Brad Pitt as like an icon.
Yeah.
At this point, his like coolness outweighs how attractive he is for me now.
Oh, for sure.
And those two movies are like the two pillars of those of those two characteristics.
Troy
is like he's sex on a plate.
Sure. They covered him in oil for the whole movie.
Yeah. Oceans is like, is there anybody cooler than this dude walking into a room snacking on chips?
At all times.
At all times. Like who is cooler than Brad Pitt casually walking into a room, cool as a fucking cucumber, just like popping chips into his mouth or whatever. You know what I mean?
I
and
like
that side of him means more to me at this stage of his career than the
hotness.
This dude is almost too
sex
good looking. That would be the main
deterrent
for me
considering
pursuing a relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Look, I get it. I get that Ocean's 11 and Troy. I get that was going to be a battle for you, and it makes sense that the Ocean's franchise won out. And for me, it makes sense that Troy won out because, and I've watched that. Look, Ocean's. I like the movies. It's something about them though where they were never my favorite. Like I never loved them. I really enjoy them. I've seen them all multiple times. I watch them when they're on TV and shit, usually around the holidays. But for whatever reason, they just never were my favorite. I think because the first one was so good, and then it kind of bummed me out that it became this like 9-movie franchise or whatever. I don't know. But Troy, on the other hand, I've watched intentionally on Blu-ray or streaming, 30 times.
Yeah.
And it's just such a good movie, but without him, it's dog shit. And what you realize, you know what? I'm going to fucking cancel that take. The last time I watched Troy, I was like, what the hell? I do not remember this many good actors being in this movie.
Yeah,
like Brian Cox is
Agamemnon. Eric Bana, right?
There's great actors all over the place.
Yeah.
Never mind. Cancel the trash take about Troy being awful without Brad Pitt. But in terms of what he brings to the movie, he's by far and away the MVP of the film. The opening scene with him where they're like, listen, you bring out your best guy and I'll bring out my best guy and we'll save all these men's lives. And he's like, haha, Fababliblis. Like, he yells out the dude's name. I don't know what it was. And the dude comes out and it's like a 9-foot tall, roided up HGH monster.
Yeah, he's a giant.
With no hair. A giant. And then Agamemnon's like, or whatever, one of the guys. He's like, Achilles! And Achilles isn't there because he's super naked with 2 babes. And some kid has to run and go get him and then bring him out. And then he's all like bitchy to his boss, like, fuck you, dude. I was sleeping. Bring me out here to fight people and shit. And then he runs in, like casually actually, starts to sprint towards the dude. Like, it's like from fucking... What was the, not Us, what's the one where the people sprint at each other for no reason?
And Get Out.
And Get Out, like that. But like really casual. Nobody's ever looked better sprinting than that dude in that scene.
No, they have not.
And then he just does this.
The jump stab.
The jump stab,
Yeah,
which
the
no
jump and
one's
stab.
ever
The jump and
executed
stab.
in an actual battle. You'd be swatted aside like a fly. But it's just from the get-go, he sets the tone. Troy, it should have been my number 1, the way I'm talking about it.
You know what's interesting? Just I'm looking at the filmography here, and I'm looking at all the movies that I have listed that I've seen that I enjoyed from Brad Pitt, and you think about big time, big name actors.
Yeah.
They almost all of them go through at least like a couple of attempts of like action movie, right?
Yeah,
like
usually
everybody, because they're big budget, you get a huge paycheck. Your name and your face are all over the posters, right? It's like this big thing. But Troy and sorry, I've lost my train of thought here. So because another one that I wanted to talk about. Wow, I've structured this sentence very poorly. So
You found yourself, though.
Troy in 2004, and then Mr. and Mrs. Smith 2005. And then that was really it. Those were like the 2 attempts at action films.
And I don't even count really. Like, I'll put Troy in that category, but I won't even count Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That never happened to me. I watched that movie in high school, and it was one of maybe 5 movies I ever finished and was upset.
I don't feel that way about it. To me, it's
I don't know why I did. I
it's
fucking
like
hated it.
It's a good bad movie. To me.
I need to watch it again, but it was I was like with a girl too, so it should have been fun.
It's all you don't necessarily need to watch it again. It's mostly interesting because of the chemistry that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie so clearly have on the screen. And it led to the Jennifer Aniston breakup and divorce and then getting together with Angelina.
Okay.
So the whole backstory is kind of what makes it interesting to watch.
Right. Okay.
It's not a great action film.
To your point though about the action films.
It's fun though, and just interesting. That was 2004, 2005, and then you get the feeling that he was like, nah, I don't need to do these.
I'll say this. To be in the most elite category of actor in terms of prestige in this country, you can't fall into that.
That's right. That's true.
You can't go do the action movies. Leonardo DiCaprio is never going to be in some dumb fucking action movie. Maybe when he's in his 60s or something.
No. He
Hopefully not.
He has proven that he won't do it.
Well, to stay on that tier in my brain, you got to avoid the trash.
So I think that was true, but I think that Leonardo DiCaprio is the last guy that's truly following that.
See, but there's still that pantheon of dudes, though.
Christian Bale?
Does that count?
3 Batmans? Yeah, that counts.
Okay.
And Terminator?
But he yeah.
He's done them, and he's like 4-time Academy Award nominee. Definitely up there
Just
as far as
shattered. You see, I pooped on something you loved earlier, and now you've found an argument of mine to poop on.
That's the narrative, and I think we still think about it that way. But Leo is seriously one of the last remaining guys.
That's fair, because Bale definitely still sits in there for me.
I'm not doing them.
Right, because if Christian Bale does them, I'm done. I'm done arguing. Yeah. Well, good. No, that was a fun top 5, though. Insane to try to pick from. But Troy, I'm glad we got a good Troy respect segment in.
Definitely.
We've made lots of jokes about Troy within our friend group over the years. Seen it many times.
Yeah.
Troy. This episode of OCC is also brought to you by Leesa. I routinely argue that your mattress is up there with your TV in terms of important purchases you make for your home. So it doesn't matter if you've got a studio apartment or a 4-bedroom house with kids running around. It is paramount that you get incredible sleep every night. You need rest. It's the only way your brain works well, the only way you're going to be happy. And I get my rest on a hybrid by Leesa. Join me because Leesa knows how important rest is to a better life. Leesa is the foundation of a healthier, happier you. And to Leesa, a bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's a place for relaxation and rest. All Leesa products have been thoughtfully designed to go beyond creating a comfortable bed to transform your bedroom into a sanctuary that you actually want to spend time in. Their most advanced luxury hybrid is made with premium foams and springs for enhanced pressure relief with edge-to-edge support. I've been sleeping on the hybrid by Leesa for, 3+ years, 4 years, 5 years maybe even. The sleep is so good, I don't even know how long it's been. The hybrid is thoughtfully designed with the best of both worlds. It's incredible. I love it. Leesa believes all people should have access to deep rest and relaxation, and as such, they make it easy for their customers to know they've made the right choice through their social impact initiatives tied to each purchase. Leesa donates 1 mattress for every 10 they sell through organizations that work in causes like foster care prevention. To date, having donated more than 33,000 mattresses through more than 1,000 nonprofits, Leesa mattresses are made in the USA. In-home delivery and setup is available. Financing is also available. Don't miss out, Clam Fam. Live healthier, live happier. Rest deeper. Order today. Get 15% off any mattress for a limited time at leesa.com/dragon. Use the promo code DRAGON. That's LEESA.com/dragon. Dragon. Promo code DRAGON. Final thing we're going to talk about before we head out. Barrett, you had a... Leesa, you had a couple of television shows you wanted to update us on.
I did.
That you have been viewing.
That I've been viewing.
What's the first one?
First one that I want to talk about is it more is just like a brief recommendation. I'm only 2 episodes in, but it's High Fidelity, starring Zoe Kravitz on Hulu.
You're watching it.
Watching it.
How's it going so far?
So I've watched 2. Hulu released. They did the Netflix full drop, so all 10 episodes are available.
Okay.
It is very, very good so far.
Really?
Yeah. Zoe Kravitz is wonderful. First time that she's like been given the opportunity to like truly carry something.
To lead, yeah.
To lead, and she's great in it. They've done a really nice job as well of like it's very much just like a flip of the movie. So her name is even the same as John Cusack's name in the movie. They're both Rob.
That is cool.
Yeah, there's like modern updates with it. People have technology.
Why
that
didn't
type of
it
thing.
didn't even hit me that's what they were playing with. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's the book originally written by Nick Hornsby. Thank you.
Hornsby. Thank you, producer Mike.
In the novel, the guy doesn't own a record store, though. I think it's something else. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's a record store.
It is a record store? Okay.
It's in the UK.
That's okay. Maybe it's just that it's yeah. So it's a
Producer
novel.
Mike says it's in the UK.
Novel, then a John Cusack movie in like 2000, and then Zoe Kravitz as a TV series.
Okay.
Anyway, worth your time. 30-minute episodes. Hulu, very digestible.
30-minute episodes.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun.
That time crunch, baby.
And fun to watch her, like kind of break out into this.
Be an actor.
Yeah.
Top Gun actor.
Okay.
What's the other one? What's number 2?
Second one. This one, I think that you should catch up on, and we should probably talk about it.
Like cover it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is the McMillions documentary on HBO.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so here's my background with McMillions. I do a segment on the Ross Bolen podcast called Stuff to Wikipedia When You're High, where we talk about random. Sometimes it'll be some story from history. Sometimes it'll be just all it has to. The only parameter is it has to be on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
At one point, we covered this scandal. With a short, stupid segment, not a documentary. And I was fascinated by it because the story is absolutely bonkers.
It is so bonkers.
Like, not believable, especially if you're someone who played the Monopoly game.
Yeah.
Which I fucking played the shit out of it.
Again, like, this is another thing just like we talked about with Snatch. This is formative years type shit.
I was stacking those pieces, bro.
I can't tell you how many times
I was fighting kids for their fucking large fries so I could get 2 off the fucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
Like begged my parents to drive through McDonald's so that we could get Cokes to peel the stickers off.
And it turns out we never had a chance.
All I wanted was like I got such a kick out of winning free fries.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah,
You were never going to get Boardwalk and Park
we were never
Place.
getting Boardwalk. We were never getting Boardwalk.
No. One or the other. You're never getting both. And everybody looked for another. Imagine, anyway, so these people, the document, all I know about it is obviously the gist of it, which is that I covered it very briefly in this segment when Stoned. So I can't wait. I'm definitely going to watch it. I can how many are out?
It's so I believe that 3 comes out this evening. I think you know how HBO is kind of doing like a Monday show as well.
I think it was
sometimes?
out last night because I saw a new episode
maybe
from
it was.
McMillions.
Okay, maybe it's all Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
So the third one is out, and I actually don't know how long it is, and I don't know exactly how we should cover it. We could wait till after the Outsider's over and then do the whole thing at once, or kind of break it up into halves, or figure out how many episodes
We've been getting lots of tweets from people saying we need to talk about it too.
What stands out to me though, and that you've already kind of spoken to, is just how zany this is. And so usually I like put on a documentary, the Aaron Hernandez doc, for example, the Making a Murderer one, and I'm like, oh man, like what a fascinating documentary. This is so gripping. I'm so glad that they made a documentary about this, and I'm pleased with myself for being an educated human watching a documentary.
Look at me.
Yes. Yeah. You know, you get that.
Learning and gaining wisdom.
Exactly. That is the feeling that I usually get while watching an enthralling documentary.
I am so progressive.
2 episodes into McMillions, I'm just like, how have the Coen brothers not made this a film yet?
Yeah.
It is. They could not come up with a better script if they tried. The characters are so outrageous and so crazy,
really?
and so like off the wall. Like, how is this person real?
So that's the thing I know nothing about.
The story is, the story.
I know the story, but I don't know the characters.
It has all the perfect Coen brothers. Like, it's got like a mob tie. It's got Florida. You don't want Florida involved in this?
Yeah, it's
Florida
like
man?
trashy organized crime,
Yes.
which I love, on a Monopoly McDonald's level.
The names, you got Jerry Colombo, you got Uncle Jerry, there's Jerry Jacobson, there's so many Jerrys.
All the Jerrys, man. Love that. Shouts to Rick and Morty.
Anyways, it's really, like I think I was actually talking to somebody at work today about this. I think that there already might be a movie in the works about this, that maybe they've optioned film rights as well. I hope that it gets into the hands of somebody like
the Coen brothers.
That's great with off-the-wall characters and a zany heist story.
Because
it's just stranger than fiction.
It feels like you could do like a Fargo-y.
Yeah, absolutely.
Florida though, not Dakota or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's exactly the feel.
Like
that
an
this
easy
story
home
has.
run. Almost like it's too easy though, and they won't
Maybe
do
it
as a
is.
result.
Maybe it is.
Huh. Okay, well, I'm excited to watch that too then. McMillions.
But definitely.
That's also on HBO, is it not?
That's on HBO. It's coming out week by week.
Right, episodically.
I think we're 3 in, so it shouldn't be too difficult to catch up.
What have you thought of HBO? Last question. HBO's lineup so far in 2020. Have they expanded as much as you maybe expected? Because the thing for me with this year was going to be how much shit do they start to throw at the wall to compete with? Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing. I understand they don't want to go full Netflix. You don't have a choice but to go some. Because if you don't, the eyeballs drift. People, if they've used up all your content, or what they feel is all the content that you're offering that they want to consume, they're going to move.
Yeah, I think that...
Like grazing cattle.
I think that they are waiting for HBO Max to drop before
content cattle.
Before they really go ham on all that.
That makes sense.
And I think that we're just now kind of starting to get to the point where after the merger, and they're like, we gotta start putting more irons in the fire. We gotta produce more content.
Right.
It takes time to develop and get that stuff made.
For sure.
So I think once the bigger, newer app drops, and then as 2020 goes on, we'll start to see more and more roll out.
Remind me, when does HBO Max drop?
I think it's May.
May.
Having said that, I do feel like there is more. I do feel I get that sense because
so do I.
Because there is plenty of stuff on HBO that I'm just not even paying attention to. I've not given a wink of sleep lost to the Avenue 5 show.
Well, apparently nobody has.
Which I feel like 2 years ago I would have been all over.
Yeah. Any HBO comedy 2 years, 4 years, 5 years ago, I'm watching every single HBO comedy they put out, man.
But there's been a few things like that. I didn't even watch the last season of Silicon Valley. I loved that show.
Man, I'm deep behind on that one. Yeah, there's just too much shit too.
So,
but I just wonder how they'll start to try to keep up with the pack there because they can't maintain the same pace. They got to go a little more in to try to just try to keep their subscribers because people are going to finish what so many people do is finish their HBO show, unsubscribe, and wait for the next season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a problem. People keep Netflix no matter the fuck what.
Right. Right.
That's not the case with HBO right now.
I'll tell you this. I am ready. I'm ready for HBO to drop like a little Q2, one of their little upcoming trailers. Where you're like, what is all of that? I must watch all of it.
A little slap and tickle. Yeah. It's give me some intense type music, just fucking cool characters I recognize.
Cuts.
Delivering lines and shit. Just
new stuff I've never even, I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. I can't wait. Hit us with that. What are those called? Hype trailers?
Hype.
Sizzler.
A sizzle.
Yeah, Sizzler. Hit us with a Sizzler. And that will do it for today's episode of OCC. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Quip, Liquid IV, Leesa, and Felix Gray for supporting the show. You can also support us directly and receive so much more OCC every month, ad-free at that, by going to patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, where in February we did our 2020 Oscars recap and review. We did Hotline Calls for All. We did a throwback movie, or we're doing a throwback movie club for Casino Royale tomorrow, and we have our Hotline Call extravaganza coming next week for members of the Mollusk Militia. You can follow us on social media on Instagram at Oysters, Clams, Cockles, on Twitter at Clams and Cockles. We're also on Facebook.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. My name is Ross Bolen. You can follow me at WR Bolen on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Also listen to my show, The Ross Bolen Podcast, available wherever Oysters, Clams, and Cockles is available. On RBP, we cover mental health stuff, addiction, substance abuse, real life shit, depression, breakups, heartbreak, but also funny shit like stuff to Wikipedia when you're high, and pirates that you've never heard of, and serial killers, and we talk a lot about animals. It's a fun show, and it is very different from OCC. I'll just say that. The Ross Bolen Podcast, available wherever Oysters, Clams, and Cockles is available. Mr. Barrett Dudley, where can we follow you on social media and hear more of your charming voice and your takes?
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Barrett Dudley. And it's just one more time, Casino Royale. Very, very excited to talk Bond.
Throwback movie
Casino
club.
Casino Royale tomorrow.
A Royale with cheese.
This is one where, like, definitely pop it on if you don't have anything else going on. But, like, we've all seen Casino Royale.
Pop.
Georgie? It's going to be a great episode if you've just seen the movie ever. You know? You don't have to go do the rewatch.
Technically, you wouldn't. Probably better if you
should. You should.
Probably better if you do. But you don't have to.
But you don't have to. It's still going to be very enjoyable. We're going to talk about a lot of other stuff.
We're going to remind you of all the best parts you love anyway, no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be a good one. Very much worth your hard-earned cash monies.
Do you like,
in my opinion,
popcorn? Pop.
Yeah, we'll see you in 27 years.
Yeah.
And then check out the Club Cool podcast wherever you're listening to this one. Just go into the search bar. And you're going to type in CLUB space. That's the space bar.
Another
Don't
bar.
spell out space.
The only two bars you'll catch me in.
Yeah. And space and...
The search bar.
The search bar.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
That's it. Space bar.
You said the only two bars you'll catch
The search
me in.
bar. The space bar.
The search bar and the space bar. That's right.
It's a different bar.
Okay.
For space.
CLUB. You got that part. Space. The space bar, not spelled out space.
Cool.
COOL. Search that. You'll find it. Like, subscribe, listen.
Club Space Cool.
You're gonna like
name.
the way you look.
You are. Can we all use that now that guy's been fired years ago?
Yeah,
I think we can.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Certainly we can. We have lawyers for this. All right. Until our next helping. Adios, muchachos.